Saturn also has very interesting weather, according to imaging team leader Dr. Bradford A. Smith.
We, in fact, have found that there are similarities between the Saturnian weather and terrestrial weather.
We saw a giant storm, something that only happens once every 30 years, totally encircling the planet, and watched as that storm developed and is now dissipated.
So we can have huge storms that happen about once every 30 years around Saturn. We can have giant hurricanes at the north and south poles of Saturn, and can also have smaller vortices. There's a region we call Dragon Alley, early in the mission in the south, where we had lots of storms and lightning with it.
The closest, the largest storm ever observed from a close spacecraft, and the kind of storm that appears on Saturn every 20 or 30 years. Okay, so it was fabulous that we were there to see this thing be born, be developed, evolve, and then eventually die.
Yeah, so this is a very special kind of storm because Saturn is, of course, spherical.
The planet appears oblate. It is oblate. The diameter quite a bit larger at the equator than it is down through the poles.
But what's special about these storms is that it lasts so long and it's so big that it actually wraps around the planet. It's a single thunderstorm that blows up in one spot, but the cloud extends out so much. Saturn's a big planet to start with. On that big planet, this storm cloud completely wraps around the planet. So this is a very special kind of storm that actually wrap around the planet. Yay, there's the image. So this is, I think this is images from around February or March of 2011.
And then it grew over the course of just 2 months. It ended up wrapping itself all the way around the planet. And it was like lightning strikes, 10 times those of normal Saturnian storms, and lots of radio waves, thundering, basically.
So this was the 5th time we've seen a giant storm like this at Saturn. But what was unique is this storm was early. It had only been 20 years since the last storm, and so it came early so Cassini could get a good view of it and watch it. And so we watched it, as did ground-based observers. It lasted about 9 months and started to fade. It was a giant vortex, and that vortex swirled off this huge tail. The tail of the storm wrapped itself around the planet. There was another vortex on the other end, kind of like a hurricane. When these two vortices merged, that marked the end of the storm.
The pictures Voyager 2 sent back this morning were part of a sequence of photos shot 10 hours apart. Scientists were hoping they would show motion on the planet. Such motion would help them measure wind velocities and help them understand more about various weather conditions on Saturn.
Dark feature also on other clouds.
We can run it forwards and backwards.
If you stop it about there, Al, in fact, you can see that there are a large number of very bright patches in the region between about 20 and 40 degrees. And these
are in the Northern Hemisphere.
In the Northern Hemisphere. A large amount of detail is showing up there.
When it finally got dark enough at night, we pointed the cameras there, and wonder of wonders, there were lightning flashes, and took a series of pictures. And in one picture there'd be no lightning flash, and the next picture there'd be a lightning flash.
Well, there are, particularly at the higher latitudes, a large number of these small white features, similar to many that we saw on Jupiter. They may be small convective elements, like a large aggregation of thunderheads or cumulus type clouds. The resolution was probably something in the order of 100 kilometers or so that gives you an idea of the scale of those features.
And at the same time, you hear the noise over the radio instrument.
And we actually saw it. I didn't believe it.
The lightning storms on Saturn are very much like lightning on Earth. You get the same strength lightning storms, or thunderstorms. They have the same strength, but they're just much less frequent. I'm enjoying the show.
Large bolts of lightning, as energetic as the total output of an Earth-based nuclear power plant, were detected in the Saturn B ring plane. Clouds in Saturn's atmosphere were clocked moving at speeds of 1,770 kilometers per hour.
Who use the computer to bring their imagination